Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hormuz Freedom Campaign for the AV-8B in DCS World, where today we're on Mission 4, Sirri Island Strike. Our orders for this mission are to take off and refuel at a tanker while a flight of F-18s go in and do a SEAD strike on 2 Iranian islands, trying to take out the Hawk sites there. We would then be free to head on to Sirri Island, where there is a large ammunition dump that has been identified, and so our job is to go in and take out that ammunition dump using GBU-16 laser-guided penetrator bombs. Secondary objective is to take out any of the air defense in the island, but we will be trying to stay high, ideally above 21,000 feet, to stay above any of the SA-15 sites that may be remaining. So anyway, let's jump in.
Uzi, let's top our tanks. Texaco is on 256 TAC and 50X. Uzi 1-1 will form up and let the Nuggets drink first.
Uzi 1-1-1-2, damn this sunset. Can't beat this view.
Uzi 1-2. Well, I would enjoy it better with a cold one in my hand on a beach somewhere around here.
That might be harder to do than it sounds around these parts.
Okay. Radio silence, guys.
And that unfortunately is where things start going wrong with the mission. I send my wingman to go and refuel at the tanker, which they do, but there are 2 tankers up and they decide to go for the other tanker, which is fine. I think it was just the one that happened to be closer to them at the time. But then the AI being the AI, as I found out in the post-battle screen, they managed to ram the other tanker. So number 4 went down and is never heard from again, and I have no idea what exactly happened to 2 and 3. They stayed up throughout the flight, they made voice calls throughout the flight talking about contacts, sometimes missile launches and going defensive, but they were nowhere to be seen and, despite my repeated orders, did not engage the targets. So they just kinda disappeared. I'm not sure where they found these SAM sites they were fighting, because if they went for the other tanker they should have been deep in friendly territory. So yeah, that was all a bit odd. But I do manage to get onto the tanker and do the refueling. With the Harrier, I'm finding it a little bit harder to make contact in the first place, really just because of where the fuel nozzle is. It's really quite high compared to other aircraft, so I keep going a little bit too low when I am trying to get attached. The good news is, once you are attached, I do find the Harrier a lot easier to stay in contact with. With all of my attempts, whenever I do actually make contact, it's really quite easy to sit there in the tanker, really because the Harrier can change its speed very quickly. It loses speed fast and picks speed up fast, so it's quite a lot easier than even the F-18 at keeping in position. Anyway, eventually we detach, and then it's time for the F-18s to start their job. So at this point the F-18s go in and do their job. They fire off several magnums, do a lot of damage. Then for some reason they seem to go in for guns, and that doesn't work out great for them.
I'm hit. Come and find me, boys. Eject. I'm hit. Come and find me, boys. Eject.
Now, as I'm approaching, I do get eyes on a hostile SAM site, so I lock it up on my targeting pod, slew the Maverick over to it, and then fire one off. Then turn away to keep distance so I don't trespass the SA-15 site. Keep an eye on the SA-15 on my targeting pod scope, but as the missile starts to approach, the SA-15 fires, but not at me.
SA-15 launch. Break. Put a sidearm down down is through.
And then a couple of seconds later, it fires another one out.
SA-15, launch. Break. Put a sidearm down is through.
And I don't realise until the end game battle screen, but what's actually happened there is the SA-15 sight opened up on my Maverick and actually shoots down my Maverick there, so I do not manage to get the kill. It's a bit of a pity, but oh well. Now for this mission, the target marker, the waypoint marker, is actually directly at the target, so they are very easy to find. One little thing that I discovered during a previous attempt that went horribly wrong is the targets don't seem to actually spawn until the seed strikes go in, so I was very confused at first why I couldn't see anything on the island till I got close enough and then suddenly everything spawns in. But expecting that this time, I went in, got the lock nicely, and dropped the bomb.
Bombs away.
Now I am dropping from very, very high altitude here, I think 22,000 feet, because as I found out on my first attempt, you really do need to stick to that. I was a hair below that last time, and my entire flight got knocked out by the SA-15 sights. So the bomb did take a while to drop just because of the altitude, so skipping ahead a few seconds here, and just as I'm circling above the SA-18 sights...
Impact! Holy smokes! The whole place went up.
There we go, very nice effect, took out the bunker and got some splash damage on a couple of vehicles.
SA-15, launch. Break. Put a sidearm down is through.
And I keep getting these callouts, I think as long as any missiles in the area, there were random SA-15s flying out at them. This wasn't actually on me. Takes me a little while to regain the distance, and I make one failed pass, but come back in with good distance, line up the target and drop a bomb.
Bombs away.
Not my most accurate drop, but this is a laser bomb from 20,000 feet, so it's got plenty of time to readjust and get itself on target. And after another little bit of a delay, the bomb gets down.
Good hits. Secondaries.
And we get good effect on the target and some splash damage setting the other bunker on fire, so all very, very good. So I do make an attempt to take out the final bunker. It doesn't seem to be as completely destroyed as the other two. Don't really know if it's counting as dead from secondaries or not. So I decide to go in. My wingmen clearly aren't going to be turning up at this point, so I decide to try and go in with the laser Maverick, which is the only kind of high yield device that I still have. Problem is that from the range I'm just not managing to get a decent laser lock, having to take this at very, very far range, otherwise the SA-15 comes in. And I do try a few times, it doesn't work. This time I stray a little bit too close and I end up being launched on. So I very quickly just kick out my sidearm. It's not locked properly, but it's the best that I can do. Then I turn away and go evasive. Almost immediately as I go evasive, I put it into a very sharp spin, which is very disorienting at night. But eventually I do manage to bring it back under control and then just decide that I've had enough at this point, and I go back and RTB. 2 targets destroyed, loads of secondaries, and the third building very, very damaged. So I do manage to RTB in the end and land in my normal pseudo case 3 variety. And so yeah, it turns out that was enough. Mission was fully complete. I don't know if that last site was destroyed or not. It's not actually a target as far as the end game screen is concerned, but it certainly did seem to count it as a 100% success. So in terms of what else was going on during all of that, well, as I said, my 4th wingman did manage to get killed by the refueling tanker, so I am guessing they collided because they both went down in flames. So not much I can do there. AI will be AI. Now, the F-18s did a hell of a lot on their initial pass. They managed to get a total of 11 ground kills firing off all of their various AGM-65Fs on the Hawk sites, killing the Hawk site radars, the launchers, some auxiliary units there. They also got 2 kills by going in with guns, and I think that was where their attack went horribly, horribly wrong, because 3 of them then got splashed by manpads. The AI does have a habit of going in for guns when it really, really shouldn't. Otherwise, I did get a couple of trucks with my direct hits. All of the others were killed by secondary, so it didn't show up in the end game screen. In terms of the air defences did shoot down quite a lot of my missiles, so that AGM-65 and my sidearm both got shot down by the air defence, but it's better than them going for me, I suppose. And then weirdly, after I evacuate out of the area, one of the SA-15s does down the remaining F-18, which must have just been hanging around. So yeah, quite heavy losses on our side, mostly due to our side's various AI shenanigans. But I had fun, did a quite good job. I do like the laser bombs, they work really well with the Harrier from high altitude. And yeah, looking forward to the next mission. I hope you are too, and I hope you join me for that. Till then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.